Are you struggling to balance both your personal goals and your relationship goals? We got a couple of tips of how we made it work for us. I know it can be hard having the strain of your relationship, your household, your family. You have so many responsibilities to take care of. And somehow, in all of that, you're expected to still take care of yourself. It can be very challenging. In our 21 years together, we have figured out what works for us. I think it'll be very beneficial. First and foremost, I think the most important thing is to take care of yourself. You can't fill anyone's cup if yours is empty. So what are a couple ways that you've focused on yourself and your growth in our 21 years together? How did you focus on yourself as an individual?
So, first and foremost is trying to make sure that I can financially contribute, not just to the household, but to myself. So, if something were to ever happen to him, or like whether it be through physical health or like us separating, anything like that, I always had to make sure that I had something to fall back on, which meant having work experience. So I've always kind of kept the job. I do work from home, always have, always kind of found a way to make money at home working for myself. And that's always been great. But I've always had to make sure that I had that work experience that could take me into the next thing. And if for whatever reason something were to happen, I know that I can fall back on that, or I can go and apply for other jobs and I have a work history. So it's not like I'm just coming to the table with nothing.
So taking
So,
some responsibility for your own financial
yeah.
security.
The other thing was personally, I always have to make sure that I'm personally okay, mentally, financially, anything like that. But mentally, I have to work with my hands. So crafting has always been a big thing for me. I've always made sure to make the time for that. Sometimes I have a little less time than others, but for the most part, I've always made sure to grow that skill, whether it's through sublimation printing, through woodworking, like you name it, I'm always in, ready to go. So I love doing projects, but that's more of a mental win for me. That keeps me balanced, keeps my head straight, and gives me something else to focus on.
That's a great example. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I think me as an individual, I've had a ton of growth. If you know me from the teenager who was definitely a hothead, definitely a bit selfish, self absorbed, I have grown. And how I did that was I put mental health first. I do suffer from bipolar disorder. So I have the pitfalls that come with that and ADHD. There's so many pitfalls that kind of await me that I could fall into if I don't properly take care of my mental health. So taking care of myself for me was doing a lot of mental growth, a lot of reading on mental health. I had to learn about neuroscience and psychology to kind of get a better understanding of my own brain. I also had to deal with some tragic losses very early, losing my mother at 19 and then my father after that. I was a pallbearer about 4 times before I was even 30 years old. So taking care of myself first was through the coaching mental health stuff I did, through meditation, through reprogramming habits. That's how I focused on me in that time, which made me better at everything else. Secondly, is definitely physical health. Like I put my physical health first. I tried to. It's very hard, but I made it a point, and I have succeeded more so recently in putting my health first, setting time aside to work out, setting time aside to get my physical tasks done, to make sure I'm operating good, I'm eating the right things. It's very easy, like I said, to just kind of fall into the quick fixes and whatever makes my bipolar brain feel good. So I had to take a lot of great care not to do that. So that's something I would recommend. Just take care of yourself. Pick 1 or 2 things that you can really focus on to take care of yourself. And that's going to allow you to go into the second step. The second kind of tip we want to give is focusing on the house. How are a couple ways that you feel you've contributed to the house and how we kept it going and kept it up for 21 years?
We've done really good at balancing a lot of stuff, but also like you help me with everything in the household. But for the majority of it, scheduling is a good 80% on me. I'm the one who takes the kids to, like, I'll pick them up from school, but he will drop them off because I don't like mornings. I'm the one who sets doctor's appointments. I take them to their doctor's appointments. work, back to school, back and forth from work, anything like that that the kids needed scheduled, extracurricular activities always kind of fell on me. That allowed him to open up his schedule to worry about other stuff that he needed to worry about and stuff that I couldn't quite contribute as much as I would have liked to because I made sure that they were okay. Kids had what they needed and got to where they needed.
It got the majority of your time, I would say. Like the majority of your time was kind of hurling them where they needed to be, taking care of them, educating them. They took a big chunk of your time and energy. A lot of it was definitely centered around the kids.
The second one was keeping up with the house. Even though we do split household chores, like you do your own laundry and stuff like that, most of the stuff it is me cleaning. I'm usually the one who cleans the living room, make sure that's picked up. Most of the household chores land on me. I have been able, as the kids grow and as like now that they're teenagers, they are able to take on a lot more. So I've kind of taken some stuff off of my plate. But as they grew, all of that fell on me. I've even done like I do most of the yard work most of the time because he's usually busy. And when I want it done, I want it done. The household is definitely more my thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think where I came in doing the majority of the lifting was in the finances, supporting the entire household, supporting individual projects, supporting kids' extracurriculars, supporting everything that everyone wanted to do, every place people wanted to go. I had to make that happen financially. And the majority of the time, it came through having to work multiple jobs. Even when I was in college, I was working 3 full-time jobs and had a full-time schedule in college. That was just the hat I chose to wear. She took care of the household, held it down, took care of the kids. I could come home and rest after working 2 jobs. I could come home and just go to sleep and kind of decompress. And of course, I spend time with my children like I love spending as much time with them.
We make it a point to eat dinners together.
That was a big one.
So I make dinners, but he would come home, sit down, and just worry about eating. Now it's a little different. Everybody washes their dishes and stuff, which is great.
But everybody also has schedules. Like sometimes kids are working and will not always have a dinner together, but we do. If we're in the house, we generally eat together. So yeah, making that time. My key to taking care of the house was taking care of the finances, making sure everything was supported, all the bills are paid. The second way I supported the household was definitely through emotional guidance. My sons, when they have difficult situations, when they have depression, when they have anxiety, when they have things of that nature, they know that I battled it. They definitely come to me, I think, a little more than you.
I think I do more of the educational teachings and you do more of the emotional support.
Yeah, if they have to work through something or they don't know where they are emotionally, that's how I really contribute to the household with the boys, is helping them process their emotions, be it anger, frustration, sorrow, whatever the emotions were. I kind of help them navigate that and grow as little humans to be able to handle that. But yeah, that's kind of how we symbiotically took care of the household. Was we did what we were good at. I never held against her that she wasn't like super loving, caring, emotional mom. She was always there for them. She always had their back, but she wasn't the one to talk to for those things. And she never held it against me that I couldn't always get to the manual labor things. I couldn't always get to the grass. If it was my day off, I'd take care of it. But I was working so many jobs, she wouldn't hold it against me if I couldn't get to some of those tasks. She would just shoulder it. So I think that was a big part, is being able to shoulder each other's responsibilities. And that'll take us to our third tip with work on the relationship, work on your goals together. What is your goal as a couple for the relationship? Big picture goals are what you need to focus on.
The first one was we always take the time to reconnect. So no matter how hectic life is getting, sometimes we're getting pulled different directions. Sometimes we're going in the same direction. But we always make sure to make the time to reconnect. And that's through, when the kids were younger, my mom was always great about being able to watch them. And she's kind of the one who first said, like, bring me the kids. Y'all need to go out. It's been a while and y'all need time for yourselves. So she was really good at being able to kind of take them, and we would reconnect by just going to the groceries together or taking trips together, or when we were younger, it was trips to Walmart about things we wanted but couldn't get just yet. But it would look great.
Yeah, a lot of window shopping early on.
But we always took the time to go out together, and during that time, we didn't talk about bills or anything like that. Anything that was going to carry heavy emotion to it that would sour a mood or get us in our feels or in our head or anything like that. It was just time for me and you to just reconnect.
Yes. And that I think really strengthened the relationship and allowed us to do the next thing, which is focus on the big picture goals. We execute on those goals. That's another thing that we both do together. Yeah, whether it was moving into this house or operating the businesses that we did, whatever the big picture goal was, we both would execute.
And I was very hesitant when we moved in this house. We were comfortable where we were at. It was financially easy to maintain. And then he's the one who said, like, we needed to move. But that's where my trust in your capabilities had to come in. And it was like, okay, he knows what he's doing. He says he's got it. We can do this.
So we're working on the next step. But whatever your big picture goal is, whether it be a big trip or building your finances, becoming financially free, we both execute on those. We both contribute to it. We outline what they are. So with your partner, outline what they are and then attack those big goals together. Set what y'all do best. I currently am budgeting, managing the finances, and seeing what goes where to make sure we have enough. And she is preparing all the other things, like making sure that we don't have any past things that are coming back. So whatever goals we're working on, we play to each other's strengths.
We're really good at setting the goals together, even though we don't 100% agree on them.
Yeah.
That's where faith comes into each other. But we are good at setting the goals and just going for it. Worst thing that can happen is you fail. Try again. Not a big deal.
And a bonus tip that we have is support your partner's growth as an individual, because that is the hardest part, I'm sure, for a lot of couples. As you can attest, you have things that you like to do on your own projects you want to do, and your partner makes you feel bad about doing them, guilts you for doing them, or makes it seem like it's a time suck or taking time away from things y'all could be doing together. Don't be that part. It is really
Also, don't come in and take it over either.
Yes. Be there, support them, but don't take over their project. Remember, it's their release, it's their growth. It's you're there to support, not there to take over. But you also don't want to vilify them for working on them, because you fell in love with an individual. That's who you fell in love with. You have to let that individual grow and let that individual continue being themselves so that you can grow together as a couple. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to always be together. Everything you do has to be connected.
Even agree. You don't have to agree on everything 100%. But if it's what makes that person happy, let that person do it. Not everything has to be agreed upon.
There's a give and take. So those are our tips on how to grow as an individual, but also still accomplish all your relationship goals. So we hope those help. We will be doing more of all of this. I hope you guys like the new set. We got new lights, we got new stuff, new table, new area. This will hopefully, just like our relationship, continue growing from here. But if you liked it, feel free to watch some other ones. But thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, feel free to subscribe or click on another video and watch. But that's it for us. So adios.
Adios.